So to begin with, are you guys like the new Scooby Gang? Is this like the mystery show? Is this kind of what's going on?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm the pretty boy and he's Scooby Doo. Scrappy Doo. Look at him. Look at him.
I'd be more scrappy.
Come on.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah, I think we have an element of that. I mean, I think we have an element of that for sure. I wouldn't say there's that quirkiness really. I mean, I would be the quirkiest one I think out of everyone. I'm a little wacky and.
No talking dogs.
No talking dogs though. No. I'm pulling for second season to get a talking dog though, or a parrot or something.
Yeah, it hasn't gone that far, but there is definitely a lot of that.
Just sense of mystery. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you guys kind of like? I mean, I know you're in this prep school, but it's just you sort of become a team that wants to find out what's going on and solve the mystery of why you're there.
We all kind of link up, and we all realize that we were scared. We get forced to go to this school. We have no idea where we're at. We're young. We're like 14. We're 15 years old. And our parents, we haven't talked to our parents. We don't know if they know that we're there, and we're freaking out. We don't know any of these people. We don't know where we're at. We could be on a different planet for all we know. So we're freaking out, and we all realize that we all want to get out. So we form this little alliance, if you will, and we start plotting, and we try to figure out a way to get out. And we find out that it's not as easy as we think it would be. Yeah.
And I understand each one of you sort of has your own skill set. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what your skills are?
Absolutely. My character, Ian, he has what is called preflex. And the best way to describe it to you is kind of like a spidey sense from Spider-Man. It's like he has the ability to be able to see and kind of react to things on just maybe like a split second before they happen. So it's fun. Yeah, it's fun to play around with.
That must come in handy when you're fighting. Are there some fight scenes that you have to?
That comes in. That makes him, an expert martial artist. That was kind of his passion growing up.
And you're a martial artist.
Yeah,
so
and pretty much it was.
Actually, you were as well, or you're the character. Oh, okay.
That's what Yeah, no, I did. I did the karate, the typical kid stuff. But his preflex helps him kind of, excel in martial arts and that whole world. So.
Helps the team as they go on through things, yeah. And what's your character's skill?
Hiding behind Ian. No. And just to touch base on the skills too is, we don't want to confuse people. We don't have superpowers either. We call them abilities, special abilities that were given to us, at birth. And they're basically things that we'd like to say it's like X-Men, but brought down to the realistic level, brought down and grounded. And mine would be I have a thing called hypersuasion, which is actually a thing. I read an article in Time magazine about, I think it was January this year, about things hypersuasion, which is like kind of people use in subliminal messages and advertising, and basically it's a way of some people using their voice. It could be a hypnotism. It's getting what you want. It's a mind control, basically. It's knowing what a certain person wants to hear and kind of manipulating it to the point where they'll believe you. And getting what you want out of it.
Well, that must come in pretty handy on the show. And then, is there ever anything on any episodes you shot where, like, maybe you use that against your, it's to your own advantage?
I don't want to, without giving too much away. Yes. There's definitely episodes where I might try to hypersuade Ian. And he may or may not punch me in the face.
Is it cut and dry that you're all the good guys, or is there some mystery to that?
Listen, you don't know. You never know. It gets to a point sometimes where, and because the bottom line is we don't know whether or not we can trust each other, but we have to because we know it's the only way that we may survive this whole experience at our school.
I'm kind of the new guy to the group. I come in and kind of stir things up. They don't know, why should we trust this guy? You know what I mean?
So we kind of follow your character as we're introduced to the show.
Exactly, and I'm kind of bent on, getting out. You know what I mean? Why am I at this place?
It's pretty much with or without us too.
Yeah.
At first, it's like
I'm on my way, and if you guys are on board, we can do this together. If not, get out of the way.
But then he falls in love with me, and it's this whole weird twist. It's
little bromance going on.
It's a little weird at first, but you'll get used to it.
And then finally, I just want to ask about like, what's the adversary? What's the like? Are there weekly villains? Are there like, what's the kind of, or is there like a sort of a conspiracy that you're working against?
There's a couple of things. I mean, there's the things that have been in the school for quite a while that we've just kind of been introduced to as, because we're like freshmen at the school. So there's there's fraternities at the school that we kind of come across. I would say yes, there's a weekly villains, but there are also the ones that you see every episode, that you kind of come back every episode because you want to see that relationship and that climax build. So yeah, there's definitely things. There's some weird stuff going on between us and the headmaster of the school, and that's an exciting thing to come back every week to watch because it kind of builds up and you don't know whether this guy's a good guy or he's a bad guy or if he's just kind of being a principal.
There's some mythology to the show that we'll get to learn.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty laid out for you, and you'll pick up on certain things and certain nuances, and it's cool. Yeah, it's a cool little digs. I'm excited to be on the show. Yeah.
Well, finally, I just want to ask, like, how does it feel to be the first live action show on Cartoon Network?
It's exciting, but it's scary. It's scary, I'm such a huge Cartoon Network fan. I mean, I grew up watching Cartoon Network, and if I wasn't on this show, I would probably be one of the people out in the audience asking questions. And I'm a little. I mean, I'm nervous because I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to make anyone feel like we're changing the network at all. But I think it's cool. I think it's cool that we might be part of history. I'm totally for the cartoons on the network because it is the Cartoon Network after all. But I think if they give it a chance, they're gonna the audience will love it. They really will.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's cool because it's just cool to be able to say that you're a part of history for Cartoon Network, and but at the same time, Cartoon Network fans are very, they're very loyal and they're very diehard and they love the cartoons. You know what I mean? Because I could say that myself. Ryan and I, we both were just talking, and we grew up on Cartoon Network. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And so it's like to make that transition from what and what you've grown up with, and then all of a sudden there's these human beings, these actors, and they're trying to take over the scene here.
It's hard. It's hard because I remember when I first went out on the audition for this show, I was like, oh come on, you're gonna put a live action show on Cartoon Network. I was one of those people, but maybe I'm a little biased now, being on the show and seeing what we do every week, the stunts and the dialogue that comes along with it, and just working with Paul. I mean, Paul he's a genius. Paul and Glenn Morgan are just. They're above it all. I mean, they're crazy, and the ideas that they come up with is just, it's absurd, and I promise you, if you give it a chance, you will love the show.